Right. So let's get into it. Personal finance. It's a term that, well, it can make some people's eyes glaze over, can it?
Yeah, definitely. It sounds a bit heavy, maybe even scary for some. But honestly, getting your head around it is, well, pretty fundamental.
Totally.
Yeah,
And it doesn't need to be super complicated. Think of this as just, breaking down the basics of how to handle your money.
exactly. At its heart, it's really just about managing everything to do with your money, what comes in, what goes out, what you save, how you might grow it, and how you protect it all.
So it's all geared towards achieving what you want out of life, really, your goals.
Precisely. It's about making your money work for you. So let's break down those core bits you mentioned.
Okay, first up, income. Seems obvious, but it's the starting block, isn't it? Your salary, maybe side hustles, any money coming your way.
Yeah, absolutely fundamental. And right alongside that, you've got spending. Everyone spends, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But the real key is making sure that consistently less is going out than is coming in. That's often the trickiest part for people.
Especially with things like, rent in big U.S. cities or unexpected healthcare costs. It adds up incredibly fast.
It really does. And controlling the wants versus the needs, that discretionary spending, that takes, well, discipline.
Which leads nicely into saving then. That gap you create between income and spending.
Exactly. And it's not just whatever's left over by accident. It needs to be sort of an intentional act, putting money aside for specific future things or just for a rainy day.
Right, having a proper buffer. And once you've got some savings built up.
Well, then you can think about investing. This is putting your money into things, assets, with the aim of helping it grow over time.
Okay, like maybe putting money into the stock market, tracking something like the S&P 500.
Yeah, that's a common example. Or maybe real estate, other things. There's always risk involved. That's important to remember. But it's generally how you build wealth long term, beyond just saving cash.
Makes sense. But you mentioned risk. That brings us to the last piece.
Protection, yeah. This is all about guarding against those unexpected financial hits. Things like having decent health insurance, especially in the U.S. system, is vital.
Avoids crippling medical bills.
Exactly. Or life insurance if people depend on your income, disability insurance. It's like your financial safety net. Often overlooked, but crucial.
So bringing all five, income, spending, saving, investing, and protection together in a planned way is how you build that financial security.
That's the idea, managing them all together.
Okay. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Even though it sounds logical laid out like that, there are just so many myths floating around about personal finance.
Oh, massively. A huge one is that it's way too complex for the average person, or maybe it's only something wealthy people need to worry about.
Right.
But the reality is the basic principles. They apply to literally everyone, whatever your income. Sure, it can get complex with fancy strategies, but the foundations: spend less than you earn, save, protect yourself. They're pretty universal. It's more about consistency than anything else.
Brilliant point. And what about the idea that it's all just about piling up cash or buying loads of stuff to be happy?
Yeah, that's another common one. Look, being financially stable definitely helps reduce stress, no question.
Sure.
But beyond a certain point, just having more money doesn't automatically equal more happiness. It seems how you use your money matters more. Spending on experiences, maybe helping others, aligning it with what you actually value. Just buying more things often doesn't quite hit the mark for long-term well-being.
That makes a lot of sense. It's okay. If someone's listening and thinking, right, I need to get started, what are like the first couple of practical steps they could take?
Good question. The absolute first thing I'd say is just get a clear picture. Track your income and all your spending for a month. Every dollar.
Just see where it's actually going.
Exactly. Use an app, spreadsheet, notebook, whatever works. It can be a real eye-opener. Then maybe try a simple structure like the 50-30-20 rule. Roughly 50% of your take-home pay on needs, 30% on wants, and 20% towards savings or paying off debt. It gives you a target.
Okay, visibility first. What's next?
Build an emergency fund. Start small if you need to, even just aiming for, say, $500 or $1,000 in a separate savings account.
A buffer.
Yeah, a buffer. The long-term goal is usually 3 to 6 months of essential living costs. This isn't for investing, it's purely safety, so unexpected things like a job loss or a big car repair don't force you into debt.
Got it. And a third thing.
Tackle high-interest debt while saving. So if you have expensive credit card debt, make a plan to pay that down aggressively. But crucially, also get into the habit of saving something regularly, even if it's small to start with.
Consistency is key.
Absolutely. And, if you have access to something like a 401k retirement plan through work, especially if there's an employer match, Contributing enough to get that full match is often seen as a top priority. It's essentially free money towards your future.
Right. So understand the pieces, get visibility, build a buffer, tackle bad debt, and save consistently. It really does sound empowering when you break it down.
It is. It shifts things, doesn't it? From feeling like money controls you to you controlling your money. It's not about being miserable. It's about making conscious choices that align with your life.
Yeah, it's definitely a journey, not just a destination you suddenly arrive at.
Exactly. A continuous process of learning and adjusting.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening is to think about what actually brings you value beyond just, spending money. What makes you genuinely happy? And then try to shape your financial habits around supporting that.
Well said. Aligning money with your values.
Definitely. Right. Well, if you found this chat helpful, this deep dive, please do give us a like, maybe share it with someone else, and subscribe to the channel for more. Cheers.